Well, the normal crisis playbook, the one that most PR practitioners would use, would be, a crisis hits. What do you do first of all? You lead on empathy. You show the people out there that you care and that they matter. Secondly, you take responsibility. So you may not admit that you failed, but you take responsibility for what your part of it in it may be. Thirdly, you promise to put it right. But that's a crisis affecting one company or maybe one sector. Now, of course, we've got a crisis that is not confined to one company, one nation, or even one continent. So the playbook has changed. It's very hard for companies to show that they can have responsibility for fixing the current situation, or for actually helping patients get better from COVID-19, or helping to mobilize people so they can provide care for others. Those companies have to just think, right, what are we actually doing here? What is the core product that we have? Is it relevant directly to the current crisis? And if it's not, then the story has to be, here we are, we're still operating, we're confident about the future, be very transparent with the way in which you communicate, be timely with your communications, but not try to overegg your role in being the saviors. And I think it's those mismatches that have been the cause of a lot of the problems. In terms of storytelling, this is a moment where there is one massive dominant story. So it's the extent to which companies and organizations can be part of that story, which is the key question. A lot of them can't be part of the big story, but they are there in the background. We do look to them. We do want them to keep supplying in the future, or now if they can, our favorite services, our favorite products, whatever it is that we like from that company. But their story must be rooted in their reality. And for me, that's the guiding principle of all PR and communication. As we've seen, things are moving very, very fast in recent weeks, and a business which may be feeling very, very confident and secure may need help in just a few weeks' time. And as we move through the different stages of this crisis, I think business leaders need to be aware of that. So if a company is doing well, it's a time to be careful, to be cautious, to be calm. Yes, be confident, but also be aware that in the view of many experts, we're really at the beginning of this crisis and not near the end. But things can change very quickly, and it's easy to get too obsessed with the negatives, too obsessed with the potential downsides for the economy, for jobs, and everything else. As I see companies moving through crisis, there are different stages where we have the kind of, at first we are kind of in denial, and then we go through acceptance, and then we realize we're in for the long haul, and we go through a stage of fear, and then we go through to emergence. And companies may at the moment be worried about the tone they're giving out. Are we being too commercial? Are we trying to sell our products at this time when people are dying? And those are really, really important questions in communication. But then a few weeks from now, the whole focus could be on how are we getting the economy going again? And then we will look to those companies that can demonstrate commercial strength, that can demonstrate they can sell things, that they can open up, that they can be going concerns and profitable again. So it can change really, really quickly. We see very, very rapid shifts in what audiences will tolerate from businesses as we move through the different stages of crisis. And just as people were very slow at the beginning to think, okay, we need to change the tone of our advertising, the tone of our marketing. We need to show more compassion. We need to show more empathy. All those things were right, but mustn't get stuck in this mindset either, where we could be through into a completely different stage in a few weeks' time. Hopefully, we will be, where actually we want our companies to be proud, to be out there, to be selling, to be doing well. So that can come quickly, and people could miss the upside as well as being in slightly the wrong place in terms of their communication when the actual crisis was at its peak. And the best thing that CEOs and business leaders can do in terms of their communication sometimes is to stop talking and start listening a bit more, and listening to their employees, listening to their investors, listening to their customers, and listening to their governments. and the more listening people can do, generally the better they are as communicators. And where communication fails, it's where we haven't listened. Not listened really, not hard enough. We haven't listened in the sense that we've understood what people are really feeling, not just thinking but feeling at this moment in time. And so listening is always, I think, a good piece of advice for leaders who want to show that they're on top of things, who want to communicate powerfully. We listen to listeners. What do we expect from leaders of businesses? And those could be CEOs of multinationals, or it could be the owner of the cafe down the road. It doesn't really matter. And I think what we want from those people is what I call the 3 C's: to be considerate, to be calm, and to be confident. So we're looking to them to be considerate, of course, considerate of their employees, considerate of their customers, considerate of their suppliers as well. And I think those things are very, very important to show that kind of empathy. But it's not just empathy that people need at this moment in time. It's empathy with a plan. You know, it's no use just saying, and I feel your pain, and I'm a highly emotional person, and I get the way that everyone is responding to this crisis. What we also want from owners of businesses, large and small, some sense of where they're going, how they're getting through this. It's the confidence. That's the second C. So you know, it's the be considerate, be confident, not in a crazy way where we're claiming this is going to be a great thing for our business and all the rest of it, but just that we're going to get through it because we're fundamentally a sound business. The proposition is still what the proposition was, and so on. So we look to those people, but also people who can show the degree of calmness that is needed at these times. And I think when I look to the businesses who are communicating with me at the moment by email or by social media, or you know, whether it's schools, or whether it's coaches, or whether it's those trying to sell me products, I'm looking for those 3 C's to come through, but not in a robotic way, of course. You keep it human. That's my mantra with all communications. So keep it real, keep it true, don't spin, don't lie, and don't overclaim. Just keep the facts coming is probably the best advice that you could give for communication at the moment.
And always, in fact, not just now.
And always, yeah, and always,
Good.
yeah. I mean, it's, you know, people think, oh, PR is about spinning or exaggerating or whatever. Well, it's certainly not about lying, and it's very rarely effective spinning. I think it's of course selective version of a story and a set of facts, but the story's got to be rooted in truth, at least your version of the truth, for it to carry resonance. And always, the problems come when the way in which an organization is trying to present itself and the facts just don't match. And people aren't stupid. And I think audiences are incredibly sophisticated. Even if they don't analyze all the facts and understand all the numbers, they can see when the tone is wrong. I mean, human beings, I think we're so good at just feeling when something just doesn't quite look right or sound right.